And it's getting to that time of the day now where they will start playing about. Karen, you've said that there's so many hippo. There are indeed not enough. And one day, I hope to be able to go to Zambia again, so that I can take some more videos and share with you how big the pods of hippos are in the Great Zambezi River. Then you'll be surprised. You have hippos coming out of your ears. It's so stunning. It's really fantastic. You little ones. Let's see, it looks like they're getting a bit frisky. Mom at the back seems like she's rolling around now. Let's see if she's going to pop her head up and open her mouth. No? Not quite just yet. And we still haven't seen our sunbathing hippo just yet. Remember, I keep saying that as we come into winter, because the sun is not too harsh, and we might get lucky and see them out in the water just resting in the sand, but we haven't just yet. But I suppose we can't always come to Chitwa Dam, and they might be doing that during the middle of the day, just before it gets too hot, you know, sort of just after breakfast. Here's a little one. Yes, open your mouth. Where's your teeth? They haven't come through yet. This must still be very small. No big teeth just yet. But you'll get them eventually. Now, I couldn't tell you if those are male or female from that age. It's virtually impossible. We even struggle when they're adult hippos to be able to tell the sex of them when they're in the water. Of course, that the males just get larger, much larger than the girls. But for now, not much. And if you have a look, actually, just over here, I want to show you some of the rooms very quickly, because there's some waterbuck that have actually just come down. They've snuck under the fence, and I want to show you how these fences don't actually keep animals out. They may need to keep the elephants out, and I'm sure they're coming in too because they're quite dangerous. But a waterbuck just went. It's a very, very basic fence. It's just 3 wires. Here we go. You can see there's little white things on there. But that's it. And they'll go up and feed around the rooms. You often see waterbuck, nyala, bushbuck spending quite a bit of time around the lodges, and in the drier seasons you'll see the warthogs also coming right up to your rooms and grazing right at your garden. But it's amazing. Now imagine sitting out here on your deck, again having a sundowner of some sort, and just listening and watching the hippo first thing in the morning, or a leopard. If you ever that does have a river view or a dam view of some sort, because as we know, water gives, so everything comes down here. But it's beautiful, it's lovely. A bit quiet. I was hoping to hear some nice and that's why it's so vulnerable for a cow to come out onto land. Sometimes they give birth in the shallow waters too, so just at the edge, but that little hippo will be exceptionally vulnerable. And I've seen a lot of video footage, and I've also heard lots of guides telling the stories of how hyenas will come through and often pester the females, the cows, and while the little one is still trying to find its feet. They do get up fairly quickly, and they often pull their tail and pull their ears, and sometimes they can actually lose their ears and their tail to annoying hyenas. Well, not annoying to us, but annoying to that poor hippo. But as soon as that little one is up and on its feet, Mom will usher it back to the safety of the water, and she'll have to spend the next couple of days, maybe even up to a week, and that little one will have to learn how to handle it itself, and it will take a little while, so she will hang around the edge of the water. Beautiful. I love that sound, that as they exhale when they come through. Oh, there's a giant kingfisher. Hang on, I'm going to find it. It's just flying. It's coming off to the left. You see it? There it goes. Yes, land. Beautiful. A giant kingfisher. That's quite nice. So a little bit different to the pied kingfisher. Straight away you can see that the giant kingfisher is about double its size, and it's the largest kingfisher species we get here. Beautiful. Now I think that this looks like it is I just want to check. I haven't seen a giant kingfisher in such a long time, so I've forgotten the difference between the male and female. I think it is the female the male that's got more red on it. Let me go to kingfishers very, very quickly and just have a quick look. Off it goes. Now, they don't hover. Kingfisher, where are you? at right now was the female. So that's the difference between that was nice. A giant.
Oh, sounds like some of the water gremlins of Chitwa Dam are attacking Taylor. Now, we are heading east and, well, no, actually, we are heading west because now is the afternoon and I've got my bearings slightly wrong. Just slowly making our way to go and check maybe on that hyena den, seeing if perhaps we can find any other dead impalas on top of marula trees, which would be a very unusual thing. So we are still a bit far away. We're taking it easy to get there because we just want to make sure that the hyenas are going to be a bit more active by the time that we get there, and I really hope that they will be out and about with the adults present. It is a bit of a blinding road, this one, just because we have the sun straight in front of us, which makes it a bit trickier to try and find anything. Now, this is an area that Mbula seems to like as well, so maybe he'll be around here somewhere. He can be such a sneaky old leopard. He knows this area so well, and he knows what to do to keep alive and well, so very smart creature. I think maybe I should have gone down that road, maybe not. I think we'll go down the next road and find out where we get from there. Perhaps, like I said, perhaps Mbula will be somewhere around here. There's a drainage line not too far from the camp. It's pretty much right next to the camp. And I think maybe there's been a leopard hiding in there, but I think maybe either that skittish leopard that we are not seeing all that much, or maybe even Mbula. Because I think this morning Tandi, Hosanna and Shongile were on Little Gowrie somewhere having a great time. I don't think they were all together, I'm not too sure, but I know that the three of them were on the same property, so who knows, maybe sometime during the night they'll all come back onto our side. Alright, now this feels a lot better, and we're gonna turn around here. Jason, you're wondering if birds fly for fun. I wouldn't think that they couldn't do it for fun if they wanted to. It is, however, their main way of transporting themselves. So if they want to get from one point to the next, they need to fly. When they're looking for food, they also need to start flying. But I think especially when they're young, perhaps the little ones get a bit more playful. I also have a feeling that maybe that's what those plovers were doing. They were just having fun. Flying around the dam like there was no tomorrow, just pretty much like sharks. I don't know why I've got sharks on my head so much lately. We're nowhere near the ocean, and I'm not going to the ocean anytime soon. Interesting. I wonder what my subconscious is trying to tell me. Alright. Oh, this is interesting. Alright, let me just park over here so we can have a look at that tree. Alright, so we have got the grey gourd on top of the tree. But more interesting than the grey go-away bird, I'm interested in those tiny little white pom-poms almost that are there. Now these are the flowers for the knobthorn. Now the knobthorn is a very special tree in the sense that it is believed that to avoid competition, pollinator competition with many other species, it actually starts flowering during the winter time when some of the other trees don't. I do think they are slightly early this year because it's normally more towards the end of July, August when we start seeing them flowering. So I wonder if perhaps summer is going to start a bit earlier this year. I don't know, this is just pure conjecture. So lots of little flowers coming around, and I've seen quite a few knobthorns already, especially around twin dams that have started to flower. Now this is a great food source for a lot of the creatures around here. I'm sure we will see some of the birds like the grey gourd bird coming and feeding on them, and so will be the giraffes. So interesting to see that everything is happening already. Talking about white fluffy things, let's go to Taylor, who's got a fish eagle.
We've got another one, but it's sitting beautifully. It's honestly out in the open. It's a lovely view. And I can't believe that it didn't fly away from us, which was really quite nice. Now, I love the fish eagles, and I hear them and hear them every single day. Obviously, don't hear them very often around camp. We have to come all the way to Chitwa. Occasionally, we see them down that side, but not as often as I would like. Now, they're beautiful birds. I wonder where they're nesting as well, because surely they should have a nest around here. I haven't quite found it yet. They'll use the same nest every single year if they can, and they constantly rebuild it. And they say, I've never tested this out, but they say that a fish eagle nest can hold a person with a weight of about 70 kilograms. What's that, about 160 pounds or so? Which is quite spectacular. Imagine standing up on a big nest like that. Now, typically only one chick will survive, and it takes them quite a few years to reach maturity. And there's a little buffalo weaver in there, red-billed buffalo weaver, another bird to add to the list. It takes him 4 to 5 years. Can you believe that? It's a very, very long time. And I quite enjoy the fish eagles when they're scruffy. They look like ospreys then, western ospreys. Isn't that nice? And then just down below the fish eagle again, our friend the crocodile. Have you decided that you are enjoying the water now? Look, it's a log. It's just mud. That's not a crocodile. Haha, of course it is a crocodile. Here we go. You can see its back raising slightly in the water. Isn't that amazing? You can see why, though, the animals do get confused and are uncertain whether it's a crocodile or not, because I mean, if you brought any person that's never seen one in their entire life and it was sitting in the water like this, maybe slightly more submerged, and you said to them, spot the croc, I reckon that would take them quite a while before they would find it. It's not easy. And there's lots of splashing about in the shallow waters, so I think there's some barbel, maybe even some tilapia swimming about here. It would be nice if we could see some of them. But otherwise, should we have a look at that beautiful 3-banded plover just to the left? It's in lovely golden light. There's also a pied wagtail running around, but isn't that nice? I know we saw one earlier looking for little insects. We might as well just have another look at all these birds because the light is now absolutely perfect. Very dainty little birds. Don't mind getting their feet either, as you can see. You might be able to hear the splashing now and then from as they're moving about. Oh, look at that lovely reflection too. It's a pity about the wind that's now picked up, because that would have been a great screenshot. You could have flipped it around too. And there's lots of fish. Actually, just right. I'm just trying to think bubbles and things from where they are. Now there was a fish in Zambia. I just need to remember the name. Was it a chesa? I think it was a chesa. You would see them sort of around this time of the day, and first thing in the morning, pied wagtails, then you would have expected.
Seems like the gremlins are getting hold of Taylor. Fear not. We have got your backs, and of course Taylor's, but I'm sure Taylor will be able to fight them off pretty soon. Now, we have carried on bumbling along this road where we had that beautiful knobthorn, and I was hoping maybe some of the flowers would have fallen onto the floor or the ground, but they didn't. They're still very high up in the tree. So, no luck for them, and I'm sure as the weeks go by, we're going to start seeing them a lot more, and perhaps we're going to be able to have a closer look at them on shorter, smaller knobthorns, or that are a bit more in reach for all of us to see. This would be just fantastic. Now I can't see anything here, but yes, very odd for them to start flowering already. I feel like it's a bit early for them to have such beautiful flowers. Ah, look, new little dwarf mongoose den. You are looking quite regal up there. Very beautiful with all the clouds at the back. Hello, mongoose. I don't think I've seen mongoose around this road before. I think it's incredible just once you stop and start noticing them, just how many little clans of mongoose there are all around, and all of them inhabit in old termite mounds. Now, I've only seen 2 of them. I think the other one has gone down from where this one was. Now, there are some birds alarming in the distance, so I think that's what's got their attention. And probably the rest of the clan is somewhere around feeding, and these 2 have the very important job of being the sentinels, the ones that keep a lookout for any potential predator. So they go to higher ground, to a vantage point, so that they can scan the area and just let everybody know in case they see something that shouldn't be there or something that could eat them. You 2 have got the most important job out there. If anyone gets eaten, it's on you. Red Brick, you say that they are so cute. I agree with you. They are very endearing. Also very naughty. Scanning all around that area. That does look like quite a dramatic setting, doesn't it? The mongoose on their mound looking into the distance with the clouds behind them. I do worry. I'm quite superstitious with the clouds. Normally when I feel like they come from the eastern side that it's going to rain. Now, there is absolutely no value to this. It's just been my experience. So I think maybe I'm just going to start wishing them away. You 2 look very lovely up there, and I wonder where the rest of them are. Zena, you say that they're always so active. Yes, they are. I feel like I think the collective noun of business of mongoose is a very good way to describe them, because they're always up to something. There's always something that's happening, and they're hurrying somewhere or going back into the mound and coming in. They always look like they've got some unfinished business that they need to attend to. So, although these 2, I think there is something that's caught their eye. Just looking in every direction. The good thing is that they are not alarming at us, so I'm sure they're just wondering what we are and looking past us. It's like I said, the general direction where they were looking at, it sounded like some birds were making alarm calls, so I think maybe they were worried that there could be any predator in there, and that's why the 2 of them are up there now scanning the area and seeing what's around. Kylie, you're wondering if dwarf mongoose would live in an active termite mound. Well, they are known to be able to inhabit semi-active termite mounds. So they'll use areas or chambers and tunnels that are not currently being used anymore. Going down. Some scent marking there. That's quite unique. Just making sure that this mound is not inhabited by any other clan, only by this one. Well, you see, very typical of this family of creatures, and it's somewhat similar to the way that hyenas do it. Well, they just use their anal glands to put some scent into the grass around them. So I think in this case, this little one was a bit shorter, or much shorter than the grass, so it had to go on its front legs, almost like dung beetle style, to be able to mark that particular tuft of grass. That is a beautiful setting. Now, I think we're just going to leave them here, because I'm not too sure where the rest of the family is. Perhaps they're all still roughly in that same fashion, but not quite so stylish. Alright, hyenas, we are coming for you. We are still far, but we are definitely getting there. So hopefully they'll be out and about, especially the little ones. But while we fight the sun, let's go to Taylor, who has fought off the gremlins.
Yes, sorry about that. It was a pity because it was so beautiful. And down at the dam, although we were going to leave anyway, they just cut us off at the right time. But we're back. Now we are back on Gowrie Main. I think what are we going to do now? Let's perhaps go all the way down here. We're on, like I said, Gowrie Main, going back towards the Mulwati. We'll just have a little check. I really want to... Is that an elephant? Yes, elephants. Never mind. We're not going to go and do anything. We're going to go to the elephants that are now joining us on the property. They just crossed. Oh, it's a baby too. It's only this big. Well, from over here it only looks about that big. It's much bigger in real life. But they're crossing now. Oh, exciting. We can try and pick up the pace so we don't lose them in the bushes. I'm going to go on to the... We're going to have to go on to... What, the fire break? I wonder if it's the same herd that we had this morning. Sorry, Gat, I know it's very bumpy here. I think that they did cross into Little Gari. Maybe they're just coming back again, but we'll go and find out. I can just see two for now. She's actually stopped. She's feeding. So I think if we sneak on the fire break, we'll get a very nice view of guards. Tumba and Tundi are on Little Gari. They must have made a kill, because that would maybe explain why we saw all those tracks going back and forth. Oh, I have no brakes and I'm going too quickly. Woo! Thank you. I almost lost my camera, but Gert saved it. That. Not to go too fast when you don't have brakes. You have to remember these things. I completely forgot for a moment. Stevie, you say, yay, elephants. They're your favorite. They're my favorite too. Okay, we're going to get there eventually, I promise. I just have to go this way around. So just check here around Baboon Pan. Okay, now we're on almost on the fire break. And we've just got to go up a little bit. Oh, wonderful elephants, wonderful elephants. Bye, birds. We're done looking at you for now. We've got beautiful giant animals. We'll get back to the birds. I always take lots of time with the birds. Sometimes you've just got to give them a little bit of a skip. Okay. Oh, I can see it. I can see the little baby. Hi. Hopefully it's going to put on a little show for us. That would be the ideal situation. And those two little Franklins keep bumping into each other. Get on out of the way. Don't scare my little elephant. You've got everywhere. You can go left or right. You don't have to run on the road. And it's coming back onto the road. That's what I'm talking about, just over there. That little crested Franklin. No, you're going to go and give my little elephant a fright, I know. It's just resting. Here's Mom. Hi, Mom. Hi, little baby. Can see her just feeding off to the left. Our little crested Franklin is also still around. And then there's the little one. What are you walking over? A stump. Very good exercise. Yes, lift your leg up and over. Hello. You're a bit nervous of us. Maybe it's going to come and play some games. There's also a kudu that was watching. You look like a young kudu that was watching this little elephant too. Now it's just the two of them for now. I can't seem to see any more. Hello, big girl. Maybe they're just behind the herd. We'll go check in the direction that they're going and maybe we find some more. Not hanging around for too long though, unfortunately. Continuing feeding and moving off straight in the direction of the sun. I think I can hear some more elephants. I'm just trying to think now. Should we go and check Weaver's Nest, not Shibamo. Should we go check Weaver's Nest? Or should we check Twin Dams? She's having a rub. Let me go up a bit further. She's actually scratching up against this tree. And our friend is still here. Come, little Franklin, move. Hello, girl. Where's the rest of your herd? Nice. We're just underneath all the trees. Look how dramatic the sky is too. All of a sudden these clouds have come over. They're engulfing the sky. And off Mom and little one go. Now this little one's not tiny. I actually thought it was a lot smaller, but that's because I was looking at it from about 800 meters away when we first spotted them moving across the road. It's probably just shy of a year now. So not a teeny tiny tot, and maybe that's why it's not too bothered with us. It's probably had lots of fun with vehicles all day long. Let's go and see if we can find the rest of them. I think let's check Weaver's Nest, and if we don't pick up anything on Weaver's Nest, then we'll just come around again and we'll come check out this area. That was quite nice though. Let me just see while I've got a bit of higher ground if I can see down into Twin Dams. We would have heard them though if they were splashing about the water at Twin Dams and I didn't hear anything. It's not a problem. We can go for a little drive about and we'll hopefully catch up with them. Maybe it was just the two of them though. That's the other case. Oh, you know what? It may have started off a little bit slower earlier on today, but it seems as though the animals have decided to wake up from their slumber and present themselves to us. So Ali is back at the hyena den with one of.
We've got these two that are out. I'm so excited. So it seems like in Djuma normally happens when they're about this age, if I'm not mistaken. But when they are born, they're very small and tiny and cute and entirely dark. So seems like its head has started becoming lighter, and I see a few tiny little spots that are starting to show on its back. Oh, that is too much. That is too much. This has been wonderful. You guys are incredibly cute. What you looking at there? Mel, you're saying what a sweet little face and that you love hyenas. I do too. I think they are just probably Disney is to blame for giving them such bad reputation in The Lion King, but honestly, look at that. Oh my god. I think my heart just melted. That is too much. That is incredibly sweet. Finding the best spot to sleep on top of Djuma. Keeping each other company. Now, I'm sure Djuma has proven to be a playmate for this youngster, and the same for the same way the other way around. Keeping each other entertained and still being quite vulnerable and adorable with one another. Wonder if Djuma's gonna, or if the little cub is gonna try to get on top of Djuma to get back to the hole, or if it's just perhaps enjoying just seeing everything that's around it. Because you haven't seen us too much, have you? Not too many vehicles all around. Oh, so sweet. I think someone's tired. Those beautiful big roundy ears. Dinaxtra, you're saying cuteness overload. I completely agree with you. We've got a very brave hyena just on top of another hyena. And I wonder if it's for comfort or also to be able to look a bit past us. Or maybe it just feels a bit more comfortable retreating into the hole and away from Djuma. So there's at least one hyena in between us and the little one. I don't think it's too worried. Had it been very, very scared, it would have run into the hole, but perhaps it's getting a bit cold. And instinct kicks in. They know that when there are certain things around them, things that they are a bit unsure about, because like I said, we've only just refound the hyenas at their den site, so this youngster hasn't seen too many vehicles around, hasn't heard too many voices. So I think it's doing exactly what it's supposed to, just being a very clever hyena and just making sure that worst case scenario, if we were something that it didn't really like, it could just run all the way down. But I think the fact that it runs a little bit and then comes out and hasn't completely hidden away just shows that slowly but surely it's starting to get used to us being around here, because it knows that we're not going to do anything to it and we mean no harm. Stevie, you're saying it's got beautiful eyes. I think they're very expressive. Especially when it's pondering about something, and yesterday it's almost like Djuma was being very naughty and she knew it. Very curious. That is already such a typical adult hyena pose, the way that it stretches its face and puts its ears in our direction to try and have a glance. Very sweet. Rashni, you're saying I need to say to Tristan that there's competition for Tamba the poser because this little one is so cute. I think that is true. We even had almost like a hyena / leopard pose when it was lying on top of Intima, who is obviously a bit more used to us because it's still sleeping down there very happily. That is also such a beautiful hyena face. And we've got that little one hiding just behind a paw. Very loving. Oh, it's nap time for someone. Still looks quite fluffy. The hair is still so long, so typical of tiny little hyenas. Ken, you're saying that it must be hard for their mother to hunt alone. Well, it can be, but not always will hyenas go hunting alone. If they find something that's a potential prey species or something that they might need help with, and they're very quickly they'll start whooping and attracting the other females onto that particular area so that the other females can come and help. Like I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, we had the 4 adults that were coming just from a kill. So they hunted this impala together, fed on this impala, and once everybody was quite happy and full, then they all came back to the mound. What you guys looking at in that direction? See, and Tima already knows by instinct to be alert and very careful of everything that might be around her. And even yesterday when we were here, was always very careful, and although it was quite brave and exploring all around, every now and again when it heard the francolins moving in the bushes or the squirrels on the trees, it would run straight back to Mom and pretend that, you know, this was my plan. I'm not scared. I'm a hyena. Such a beautiful pose. I think maybe they're starting to get a little bit cold. The sun has gone down, and it seems like the bigger one is curling up. The little one doesn't want to be forgotten. I think it just raises the head to be like, yeah, I'm still here. I know you guys are there. That is wonderful. Those tiny little faces. Now, as it starts getting older, then it's going to start becoming lighter and lighter in color until it gets that orangey tinge and lightish tinge to it. So its very dark colors are going to start fading. We're going to start seeing a lot more of the spots, and the hair is going to become shorter, slightly shorter, except for the hair at the back of its head, almost like that mane, that mohawk that hyenas have got. That plays quite an important part when they're trying to intimidate each other, as they can raise that hair and make themselves appear bigger than what they really are, thus avoiding a confrontation just by showing off how big they appear to be. So sweet. And your ears are so pretty and round. Very peaceful day today at the den. I wonder if perhaps they were playing around and running around like little hooligans earlier on. And it seems like Intima's quite curious, and she comes and she goes and she missions and she doesn't stand still. So I think it's interesting to see this other side of her when she's a bit more tired and relaxed, but yet quite alert. So it's almost like she's tired, but she wants to carry on playing. Everything around her, it's too stimulating to actually want to go back down into the den and just stay there. Jackie, you're asking how often do these cubs need to eat? Well, the mothers will normally come and suckle them for maybe an hour at a time if they've been gone for quite a long time. And they've got very nutrient-rich milk. I think it's actually the most nutritious milk of all the predators out there. And they compensate for not taking them out on kills when they're this young or not bringing too many things back to the den by just having this very, very nutritious milk. Ah, yeah, there were some francolins around, so somebody got a bit spooked. But the mothers, I would say, they would come and suckle them at least twice a day. And the little one, I would imagine that it would be a bit more frequent. You can actually check the book and find out. Because I know for certain species, like for example with warthogs, the mothers are known to come and have to suckle them about maybe 40 times in the space of a few hours. Hyena. Alright, getting there. So they suck for 25 to 30 minutes at a time. There's more than one. Females with male cubs spend up to 5 hours a night attending them, often paying 2 visits. So it would seem like they come twice a day, and maybe they suckle them in the interval when they are here. And so I think that's a good thing that they have little ones. So, but after parking them in the communal den, mothers pay only 1 visit a night, and may leave juveniles older than 8 months unattended for 2 to 3 nights. Interesting. And they will not allow suckle each other. So a female or they have different mothers, these two. They will not let the other cub suckle from them. It's very competitive in the hyena world, and it starts from a very young age. So I would imagine that they were here sometime this morning when Taylor was here, and then they left. Maybe they'll come back tonight. Hopefully they will, so that these little ones have a nice meal. Taylor has managed to find a beautiful spot to admire the sunset, so let's go over to her and see what the sun looks like today.
Isn't this absolutely gorgeous? Now you can see that thick layer of clouds that I was telling you about that's come from the south and moving towards the north, but it does create the most dramatic sunset though. It's actually beautiful. It looks like the sky is on fire in some parts, and the rest of it looks like smoke. It is really, really pretty. That's something we actually haven't really been doing too much of, and I'm sorry for that, as we haven't been spending too much time looking at the sunrises or the sunsets. Well, I haven't. Probably Ellie's been a good girl and has indeed been doing that. I've been neglecting them because I've been having so much fun with all the animals out here. And I do have to tell you, Gert and I got so excited a moment ago. I went driving off-road because I swear that I saw a leopard sitting in a marula tree, and it looked like I could just see the silhouette. It was not a leopard though. It was a massive knot in the tree, and there was a small branch that obviously the elephants had broken, but it made it look like the body and then the head. It was quite cool actually. Isn't that lovely? Another good wallpaper or screensaver. Wow, that is such a beautiful skyline. Right, but let's carry on. Let's see what else we can find around here. A couple of impala about, but we'll keep going. I haven't driven up Leadwood Road for quite some time, so it'll be interesting to see what we can find up and around here. But the light is getting a bit tricky now to try and spot tracks, so I don't know how much tracking we're going to be able to do. We're just going to keep our eyes peeled and keep searching. I'm still confused about where Hosana and Shongile came from, and I am starting to think, like I said this morning, that possibly it was them that were up on that impala kill all the way in the north and then came all the way back this side. It must have been just moving in between Ali and I as we were driving around on the sunset safari yesterday, and they gave us the slip. So I'm just hanging around in the southern corner to see if they do decide to come back. So I'd forgotten that. I'd mentioned to you about Tandy and Tamba being on Little Gari, and they said that please go into gear, car. They then said that they didn't see Shongile. They did have Hosanna this morning though, so I don't know where Shongile is. So she could be around here somewhere. So that's why my thinking is to just come and check around Leadwood Road. It doesn't look like it's been driven in ages. The only time I suppose I did pop onto Leadwood was when we had Tundi the other morning. We did a very quick little loop on the fire break and then back towards Gowrie Main again. But we haven't driven up this way just yet. Well, there's lots of old 2 tracks sort of heading around on the thicket. I think we had a leopard sighting of Karula once down in here. I think this must have been one of the first times I actually saw her. She had a kill. Just trying to think what the kill was. She had it up a tree. It was in a Tumbuti tree, right off, or just off of this drainage, just off of the Mawati, in fact. Let's keep going. Oh, I want to show you the clouds on this side because they look nice and pink. Let me find a gap very quickly. Also just going to scan while I find a gap. Oh, there's an elephant. Hi, elephant. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. There's a couple of them. They are so far into the thicket though. Anyways, let me go a little bit further forward. Look at that sky. Yeah, there's an entire herd of elephants in the thicket, but it's very, 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 very difficult to try and spot them. But maybe if I go around the bend, we'll just have a look at this beautiful cloud. See that? Dark grey and then all that lovely pink light from the sun. Isn't that gorgeous? It does look like, don't you think it looks like smoke, that cloud? Looks like there's a huge fire. Very pretty though. Can you see something moving there? Let's see if we've got an elephant. That looks termite. Okay, let's go around the corner because the road bends at quite a distinct angle, so I think we might get lucky and actually be able to spot some of these Ellies. So I wonder where this herd has come from. Looks like they're feeding east. Maybe it's that herd that we were trying to follow up on earlier this morning when they disappeared. Yes, we should get a view here. It's not going to be the great... Oh no, hang on, let's go right up underneath this marula tree. Hi mama and little baby. I'm going to go up forward and get past this thicket. You can see them just there. Here's a little gap for us to have a look. Hello. Oh, sorry, the road angle changes constantly. So there's a few of them in here. It doesn't look like the big herd that we had though. But at least we've got some elephants, which is nice. Just very peacefully flapping her ears, munching away, eating grass. Oh, there's elephants. We've got elephants on either side of us now. That's good. So hopefully they'll stay in sight for quite some time. But we will have to put our infrared on at some point because we won't be able to continue viewing these elephants when it gets too dark. But look at her there. So she is eating grass. She's found a patch that she's enjoying. She's having to shake quite a bit of the soil off of the roots though. So when elephants feed on grass, most of the time they actually completely pull the whole plant out of the ground. Sometimes they get lucky when it's nice and green. It tends to break a bit easier because it's softer, then the roots stay behind. But once the grass gets unpalatable like this, it becomes tougher and not as easy to digest as the greener grasses, and that's why they pull the roots out. So it's good to just give it a shake off, because remember, an elephant's age is determined by their teeth. So if they don't shake off of the unnecessary soil, they will grind down their teeth a lot quicker. And that process speeds up anyways during the winter months. So there's no need to add fuel to that fire. Keep those teeth nice and clean, elephant, and then you'll be able to keep them for a long time. Now we put all our jackets on because we got cold at one point. But the spot that we're sitting in is very sheltered. We can't feel any of the wind at all. And I'm actually quite hot now. I feel as though I need to take a few layers off. But I know once I start moving, I'm going to get chilly again. Apparently it is 74 and 23. So not particularly cold. But like I was saying yesterday, the evenings don't get too bad. About 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's starting to get chilly. And then, of course, the wee hours of the morning, it's freezing cold. And when we start safari, the same thing. We always complain about the cold weather. Oh, that's lovely. Look at that. Isn't that great that their ears are just large enough that when they do flap them forward, they can actually chase the insects around their eyes and And that's very, very useful because their tail can't reach there. Of course, they've got their trunks, which they can bring up and wipe their eyes with. Sometimes it's nice just to be able to use your ears. I wish I could do that. There's a lot of moisture coming off the eyes, so of course the insects will hang around in those areas. But not bothered at all by our presence. So relaxed. But we'll see if she decides to come this way. Now the little elephant just to the right, it's not the greatest view, but it's being quite funny. It's trying to very delicately pick off leaves, but it's not doing the greatest job. It was struggling just now. Let's see, yes, you're chewing now. You've got some leaves. So unlike an adult elephant that will break the leaves off and put it straight into its mouth, it's obviously breaking bits that are too big. So it picks it and then puts it on the ground like it's doing now, and then pulls the odd leaf off and then pops it in its mouth. Now you're going to eat grass? Yes. No, you're still eating a leaf. It's enjoying that bush willow. Whichever one of the 45 million bush willows we get in this area. Isn't it sweet? Yes, come back to Mum. Also not a very old elephant. Maybe about 8 or 9 months old. Actually, no. Maybe even a bit older than that. Maybe a year, year and a half. It's not actually that small now that it comes up to Mum. Can't fit underneath Mom's tummy anymore. You can see that. Even though it's trying to. You're not going to manage to go under there, little one. It looks like a little boy. It's just so great how they go up to Mom and look for comfort, just as we as humans do. You know, go over to get a cuddle, a hug. Little one's going over and probably going to want to try and have a suckle at some point too. It will still be suckling. They do their suckle for ages, elephants. Right up until Mom has her next calf, so to about 4 years old, and then even then, when Mom's not looking, the older calves often will sneak in and try and get a little bit of milk, but she won't normally stand for that. Goodness gracious, she hasn't stopped, has she? Is she even still breathing as she shovels down all that grass? Hey girl, you're a really efficient eater. You're not wasting any time at all. So you see how she's feeding against these small shrubs. Now, a behavior again that we've seen, and we have started chatting about it, but the grass underneath that shrub and underneath some of these fallen trees, she might still find some lovely green stuff that has been missed. So we'll start seeing them picking up trees that have been that have fallen over, or they've pushed over. They'll pick them up and move them so that they can reach the more palatable grasses, because the ones that are out in the sun all day, they get burnt and they go brown very, very quickly. And if you look carefully at her mammary gland, this one on the right hand side, you can actually see that little one was suckling at one point. There's a little bit of saliva there. Stop pushing underneath Mom. You're too big to go underneath her. Oh, are you going to try? Oh my goodness, it's trying. What are you doing? You can't figure out if it's trying to eat something that's underneath her feet. Maybe there's a little, oh no, you're getting grass. Maybe there's also a little root, not quite strong enough to pull up. Now, Catherine, you've said that apparently baby elephants start to trumpet and sort of scream when their mom starts to wean them. Most certainly, she does do that. And you often find that you hear those noises coming from the oldest calf. Because like I said, when mom's not paying attention, they will try and sneak a suckle as well. And then mom realizes, hey, that's not the little one who's drinking. And then she'll, turn away or reprimand the younger one, and normally that ends up in a tantrum. But yes, you are entirely correct in saying that does happen often. And that's how we find the elephants. That's how I was finding the elephants in summer, because we couldn't see anything. You would just switch off, you'd have their tracks, and you'd wait till you heard a and that was me making that noise, and you go right that direction, and then off you'd go to try and find them. Now, it's probably one of the most intimidating sounds out in the bush, especially at night. And if you are, say, you're a guest and you're out just on your deck, and before you go to bed and you hear a sound like that, you would think that there are dinosaurs lurking about. They make interesting noises. Isn't this a lovely, peaceful way to end a Thursday afternoon? It's not a bad way. Hello, girl. You going to come up to the car? We'll see if she starts to show any interest in us. She hasn't showed us that she's bothered by us being here. We were parked quite a distance away from her. Now she's happily approaching us. She's feeding in this direction. But she has got plenty of space to pass. And if she wants to walk exactly where my car is, she'll tell me, and I'll happily reverse or I'll go forward for her and give her the right of way. That's often what happens with elephants, I've noticed, especially when you're in the national parks, or no, even just out here, is that elephants have very specific routes that they like to walk on. And it's happened to me, so I can talk about it. And I have told the story before, where I was sitting in the car. I was actually being naughty. It was when I was very little, and I got shouted at. I wasn't listening to my dad, and he just said, "Oh, whatever, I don't care anymore. Then you must be killed by an elephant." And it serves me right. I was sitting on the door. We were at a dam, and we checked around. There was nothing, and I was just looking. It was quite a big dam, and I was looking with my binoculars. Like I said, I was little. I don't do those types of things anymore because I know better now, and I did get in trouble. And this massive elephant bull came out of nowhere. We were all looking at crocodiles and hippos, and he wanted to walk where our car was. We didn't hear him, because remember, when an elephant walks, it's completely silent. Anyways, it stood next to the car, probably a little bit closer to where this elephant is from us now, and trumpeted. And well, I smacked my head so hard on the window coming, as obviously jumped back in. It was terrible. And then that was the last time I ever did anything like that. My dad laughed at me and said, "I told you not to do that." So I suppose I learnt the hard way. And all we had to do, all my dad did was, he actually didn't even have to turn the car on. He just put the vehicle out of gear and rolled back. And then the elephant was quite happy. He walked straight past us and straight in front of us. And that's what elephants will do. So you don't always have to panic when elephants show you that they're unhappy with you. Sometimes it means you just have to move 5 or 10 meters, and then they'll go about their day. And it's important that you don't react too quickly to an elephant. When I say too quickly, I meant too dramatically. Sorry, I should have used that word. So don't panic. Take a deep breath, assess the situation. They're not just going to attack you. They do give you warning signs. And if you are unsure, start the car and just slowly move away. But don't block an elephant. That is honestly the worst thing that you can do, is blocking an elephant. And don't play around with elephant bulls and must. If you see them, give them way. Don't try and follow them. That's also a mistake that a lot of people make in national parks, is trying to get the greatest sighting of a big elephant bull and think that he's just going to walk past the car. He might walk past the car. He probably will just walk past the car. But you don't want to take a chance, because they're very temperamental when they're in that must period. So that's when there's a lot of testosterone pumping through their body, and they're ready to mate with the females. And they basically are seeking out any cows and estrus, and they don't let anything come in their way. And that's why you'll see with us as guides, is that sometimes we find a bull and he's in must and he's not happy, and we just go, right, you know what, we can go find elephants somewhere else. We'll go look for somebody who wants to be viewed. Now, how great is this? We've seen this elephant cow, and the way she's eating, she means business. She's not wasting any time. Like I said, she's being very efficient, whereas that little calf, who's not quite just depending on vegetation, is being so slow and delicate. Look at it, picking out a little piece of grass, pulling it, putting it in its mouth, making sure it goes in the right way. It's still got a lot to learn, a lot of muscles to train, though, before it can eat as quickly as mum. Hello, Karsten, who's all the way from Denmark. Thank you for your question. You're wondering if there's any nutritional value in this dead grass. Not as much as the elephants would like. It's really just roughage at the moment. It's probably the equivalent of eating hay or straw. So not doing them too much, and that's why they start to feed towards the drainage lines to eat the greener vegetation. It's also softer, not so hard on their teeth, but they need to continuously eat 19 hours a day and make sure that they get 5% of their body weight. So even though the grass doesn't necessarily have as much nutrition as what they'd need, they'll feed on a variety of things throughout the entire day. So she could have been feeding on bush willows and all sorts of things. She's actually changed now. She's gone from grass and she's feeding on a variable bush willow. She's just stripping the leaves straight off of the... No, now she's eating a bit of the stem, but a moment ago she was actually just pulling the leaves off like that. And that's the problem with obviously the harsh seasons, not getting any rain in the winter months, is that the grass is the first thing that disappears. And that's why the animal's diet is so varied depending on the season. So elephants prefer to feed on grass. It's their favorite thing to eat, and they will. Throughout the summer months, they'll eat all the lovely green grass. They'll eat all the new marula leaves and all the new green leaves that have come through. And then they wait. And then towards the end of the winter, right from the beginning of winter, they'll feed on a combination of grasses, leaves. They'll start digging for roots. They'll start eating the cambium layer in the bark. They'll dig for bulbs. And then, of course, any of the fruit that we get in winter, jackalberry fruit. I'm sure they eat the guarri fruits too, and those type of things. They've just finished eating the balanites fruit, the torchwood fruits. This is lovely, and I know we can't really see any others, but it's nice just to watch these two. I don't think it's the same two that we saw a little while back, because we're actually quite a distance from where we were, and she seemed to be going in a different direction. And I did a big scan around, and I didn't see any of her and her calf's tracks coming out. She's coming right up to the car now. Hello, girl. Do you mind us? I know it's getting a little bit dark. It's sort of that twilight period now, and I'm sure that the light is playing tricks on your eyes, but you don't have to worry about us. But she hasn't, like I said, she hasn't shown any aggressive signs whatsoever. She's not bothered by us. As long as we don't get in her way of eating and don't upset her little one, she'll probably just ignore us. She's... Are you so little? Are you tired? Maybe it's had a very busy day and now it's struggling to keep its eyes open, and that's why this little one's eating so slowly. You look like you actually have table manners compared to your mother. Chitty and Stevie, you say that this is very calming. It is. I always say that when you're in a sighting with elephants, it doesn't matter what has gone on in your life, what traumatic experience you've had. I can promise you right now, the overwhelming sense of peace that you feel around these gentle giants is great. Obviously, if you come across a cow that's in distress and she's not very happy with you, that's not calming. That gets the adrenaline racing. But most of the time, elephants are very peaceful creatures. And especially around here. You know, the guides out in the Sabi sands are really good. They've had fantastic training and will try to be as ethical as we can, and we always make sure that the animals come first, and they remember that. Remember, these elephants are only relaxed like this around cars because they're constantly having good and positive experiences with the vehicle, so there's no reason to all of a sudden become aggressive towards us. But as soon as they go to an area where they have bad experiences with people and vehicles, their whole attitude will change. And then you've slowly got to gain their respect and gain their trust. There's not many places where you can go and have sightings like this. I definitely think the elephants in the Sabi sands are really great. I can count on my hand sort of the not so pleasant experiences I've had with elephants, which is really good for almost 6 years in the bush. Not bad. And I hope to keep that list very, very short. But it's inevitable. You know, you're bound to get to that point where you come across a herd that's just not particularly happy. You know, there's lots of different things out here that can cause the elephants distress, not necessarily the people. It could be a cow that's an estrus. Maybe she's having complications if she's pregnant. They could be ill. They could be not like sort of, you know, upset. Maybe a member of the herd has died, or maybe lions caught something. A bull that doesn't want to leave and is harassing the youngsters. That's quite a traumatic experience for the entire herd when they have to push young bulls out. And even just a bull that is chasing after females, that's looking to mate with them. That's never a fun experience. That's actually when you tend to find the cows a little bit upset, and you want to make sure that you give them a bit of room. Because if a bull comes charging in and he's looking for an estrus cow, they'll just start moving away and dispersing at all sorts of directions. And you don't want to find yourself in the way, but that's not the case over here. Even though she is secreting slightly from her temporal gland, I don't know if you noticed that, just to the right of her eye, they've got these little glands which they secrete a liquid, and that just shows you their emotion. It's an overstimulation of adrenaline, but I don't think she seems as though she's stressed. Maybe she's slightly stressed because of the change of season and the quality of food. That could be it. But she's not bothered with us at all. Oh, sorry, my hat's popping in. Now another question from our friend Karsten, who's from Denmark, who's wondering how long are little elephants dependent on their mothers for? Well, for quite a couple of years. In fact, remember the females, any female calves will stay with the herd for the rest of their lives. It's the young boys that get pushed out. So they'll stay close and have a good relationship with their mom and their siblings, their female siblings, for the rest of their life. But in terms of suckling, it's about 4 years or so, 3 to 4 years, maybe even slightly longer, with drinking milk. And then after that, they can live on their own, because then they're just feeding on vegetation. Obviously, we just discussed occasionally they'll try and get a sneaky suckle in, but not enough that it would make any difference to their health, really. So after that, once they've been weaned, they could live on their own. It's just if they stayed amongst, they'd need to stay within the herd, otherwise they'd find a problem. Not a problem, what am I trying to say? I'm distracted, I'm just looking. Here comes a young bull, actually. Look at this. This is what we were just talking about now. Here's some young bulls who look like troublemakers. And so, sorry, Karsten. So theoretically, straight after they've been weaned, they're good to go. So here's more members. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more elephants coming out of the bushes. I think it's the bulls. Actually, 5 elephants coming out of the bushes. Now we might see something quite interesting, because those 2 bulls look like they're going to push and shove each other quite around. Wow, the one has actually got very big ivory. Not the one in front, the one coming from the back. Look at that. You'll see, you can look very carefully. How is that set of ivory? And they're not particularly old. They look like they're about the same age. I would put them at about maybe between 15 and 18 years old. Not quite 20, they're not quite big enough just yet. So that one at the back, goodness gracious, he is going to be a lovely, lovely giant one day. He's still got a whole lot of growing to do. He's probably got about another 20 years of growing, at least, before he can think about competing with any of the other bigger bulls. But I'll tell you, he's going to give a run. He's going to give some other elephants a run for their money. He's going to have lovely ivory. Look at that. That's a great. So as you can see, it's starting to get a little bit darker now. We're going to have to put the infrared on, and we'll see how we go with these elephants. So while I do that, Ellie has left the hyena den. I wonder if she's got her spotlight out. Ellie, are you going to find a chameleon before me? I think we should have a challenge.
Well, Taylor, that was a lot of information you were throwing my way. We have left the hyena den. We're not too sure where we're going. We don't have the spotlight out, but we can look for chameleons. Now, Craig really wants to see a honey badger, so we are pretty much driving in all the roads where we think that a honey badger could be, because when I asked Craig where he wanted to start finding a honey badger, he was like, well, of course at the den where it's been sleeping. Now, we just need to find the den. So maybe we'll bring the spotlight out in a little bit, see if we can find a chameleon. So far no luck. We also had a beautiful view of the moon, but it's now covered by all the clouds, so we can't really see it. We'll keep an eye out for the moon too, because it was looking very lovely. It's almost full again, so maybe soon enough. I'm not too sure. Come honey badgers, and of course a porcupine. I am set that I will see a porcupine somewhere here. I was also hoping for jackal, but it seems like not too much. It seems like the moon has decided to come and join the party. So let's maybe stop here and have a look at the moon while I try to get the spotlight out. So there we go, the moon. Being constantly covered by this very thick cloud cover that we've got tonight, but it's looking quite unbelievable. Very beautiful. And you can see just how much the wind is blowing just by looking at the clouds that won't stand still. Now I am convinced they're coming from the eastern side, so who knows, maybe this will bring a bit of strange weather for us because normally most of our weather comes from the west. This has been a very ongoing conversation that I've had with Tristan about the clouds that bring good luck and the clouds that bring rain. But I think maybe we shall wait and see what tomorrow brings rather than me start to make up stories that have absolutely no scientific foundation. Right, I have got the spotlight out and we are going to be looking for a chameleon for Taylor, perhaps two in case she finds one so that we win the challenge, a porcupine for me, and a honey badger for Craig. Any other requests, just send them through using the hashtag Safari Live and we will try to fit them all in, see what we find. Hopefully all of them. That would be quite a drive if we could find all of the night creatures that everybody wanted to see. And then of course I want to shirk around, see if perhaps the lions do come back to us. Oh, talking about lions, before I forget, it seems like there's quite an unusual update all the way from Chitwa Plains. It seems like the Talamati Pride has made their way all the way up here. So they are quite far from our general area, but it's interesting because I don't think they have been up here for a very long time. So who knows, maybe there's a shift in the wind for lion dynamics. Perhaps it's the winter months that are pushing them all into very different directions. It would be very good to see if they do stick around or if it's just a casual visit, not really determined by anything. Okay, no, that's an impala looking for chameleons. Strawhead, you say you want to see a hedgehog. Wow, I think that might be just as impossible as a pangolin, but why not? Let's just add it to the list of things that we would like to see. I also have never seen a hedgehog out here in the bush. Have you ever seen a hedgehog, Craig? No? Also not in the wild. Yeah, I also haven't seen one in the wild. Well, no, I lie. I have seen them in the wild, but I have seen them in Europe. Quite a massive one, all the way in Latvia. Close to Finland, and it was about maybe this big, and it was such a gentle thing and kind of bumped into us, and we were also surprised to see a hedgehog, and then it carried on with its evening, and it was massive. But African hedgehogs, I haven't seen any out in the wild. Now little jumping bush babies, we could also look for you wherever you might be. No, you are not a bush baby. Chameleons, also not too many chameleons around. Taylor put on her IR, her night vision, so let's go over to her and see the elephants in the dark.
Well, what I was going to do, you should see, we're going to put the infrared on. I'm looking at the monitor, not in black. Now I'm in black and white, but it was so funny because the elephant was just standing over here, and then I'd reached over and gone mwah, and given the elephant a kiss. It was so fantastic. That's probably the closest I'm ever going to get to giving an elephant a kiss. Let's see if we can do it again. That was quite cool. I enjoyed that. We've got a position. Oh, she's too far away. I don't want to kiss her bottom. That won't work. Okay. I had my moment. Maybe she positions herself slightly again. Isn't this cool though? With the clouds and the elephant and everything in black and white. I think it's so amazing. I really do like the coloration that you get from the infrared. It's really quite beautiful. Now I don't know where her little calf has gone. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. Maybe it's gone to play games with the bigger elephants. And Mom is on a break. Mom's she's given her babysitting duties to someone else. But she's still just feeding around here. She's quite happy to do so. Come on, come back this way. It was so nice. Now she seems to be feeding further and further into the bushes. I thought she was going to come out onto the road. And I can't see those young bulls anymore. They've also moved. Oh, hang on, now I can. Let's go up a little bit further. Let's just go slightly around the bend. I'm going to keep all my lights off now, of course. I don't want to blind any of the elephants, upset them. Now, Natalie, you're wondering if elephants can see in the dark like cats can. Not as well as what a lion or a leopard could, but not bad. Much better than what we could see. I'm going to pull off the road just slightly here. Hi, elephants. No, don't worry. Look at this little one. Oh, it's throwing a tantrum. We can look at it in infrared. Oh, we're being charged. Don't charge us, little elephant. We were just with you a moment ago. What you talking about? You're only acting like this now because Mom's not around, and you know she would give you a reprimanding if she saw you behaving like this. Very curious, these little ones coming right up to the car, probably only about a meter away. Careful now. I'm much bigger than you, and I'm not going to hurt you. It's okay, little one. Relax. There we go. Watch, it's just pretending I'm walking, and then I'm going to turn and charge you. Can I give this one a kiss? Did it work? Yeah. Yay! My first kiss that I've ever given an elephant, and while I was live. See, little one, I'm not too bad. I quite like your company. Come and hang around us more often. You don't have to run around. Mom has said that I can look after you. I think I'd make a great elephant babysitter. I think it would be really nice. No, not happy with me looking after it, so I think it might go all the way back around to Mom. Let's see it. Just look, see how it's sort of just feeding, pretending. I'm gonna just touch this tree now. Maybe eat a leaf. No, I see there's learning the displacement behavior that often the older bulls exhibit when they try and sneak past you. I think are you gonna come in for one more charge? No, running back to Mom now. Has had enough fun and games for one evening. Okay, bye, little one. I think we can turn around as well. Let's do that. Just going to try and turn around up here. Oh, it's charging me again. This time while I'm turned around. That's not fair. Okay. It's just there in the open. We'll have a look at this one again because it's being so cute and so entertaining. Oh my goodness, did you see that sky? It was magnificent. Roshni, you said that maybe this little one just wants to play with me. I wish that I could play with an elephant. I'd have so much fun. We were talking about it this morning, actually. No, it's not playing anymore. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's starting that process of how and what can I intimidate? If I run at you, does this work? Or should I try something else? And obviously we don't react to the little ones. We laugh at them. How great is that skyline, though? It is so pretty. Especially with the silhouetted trees. And it was really, really lovely. But let's carry on. Let's go back down this way. I'm not going to push these elephants because there's quite a few of them in the road, and I know those young boys are there. And I reckon if we go up there, we'll just be giving them an excuse to play around. So we're going to leave these elephants now. I think we've spent a good amount of time with them. It was fun to have that little one right up at the end, but I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to send you back to Ali now and to see if she's found any chameleons yet, because Ali, I'm about to pull my spotlight out and I'm going to catch up.
Taylor, in the time that we've been off air, we had 18 chameleons. 18! So you better keep up. It's a big challenge coming ahead. If you can find 20 chameleons, I'll be very impressed. Now, it seems like the chameleons are shy. That's why we can't show one of them on air, because every time that we have tried, then they hurry away. But I promise you that we've seen 18 chameleons. So Taylor, we'll leave it at that. You can try and catch up anytime. We're open to your 20 chameleons. But in the real world, we haven't seen any porcupines or honey badgers yet, or bush babies. And what else were we looking for? Oh, a hedgehog. Also no hedgehogs around. So I think the next turn I'm gonna abandon this road that doesn't seem to be beaming with nightlife. Perhaps this is not where the party is. James, you're wondering what are the denning habits of honey badgers and at what age the youngsters start moving out. Well, also when they're about 3 months old, they start venturing out of the den, and the den is normally burrows that go underground, and just the female attends to the youngster. The males are not really involved in the raising of the young. Often you'll see them moving their little ones from one den to the next, and just like hyenas, when they're born they're fully black, and then they start getting their whitish colors as they become a little bit older. Now the weaning age, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's around about 6 months old, and that's when they start venturing out with their mothers for food, if I am not mistaken. I will have to double check on those facts and let you know. I think it was somewhere around there. They are weaned about 4.5 to 5 months old, and they started consuming meat a little bit earlier. Often little scorpions and insects, that sometimes even snakes, that their mothers managed to catch. Now, if we could find a honey badger den, that would be the best thing ever. Imagine just being able to see a tiny little grumpy honey badger coming in and out of their den every day. That would be, I think that would make my day. I would also very much like to find a pangolin den, but I think that's going to be a lot harder. Alright. Little creatures. Not chameleons, because of course we've seen 18 chameleons and now we've got them all. But everything else. Thought maybe this main road was going to be a good call, but clearly not tonight. Seems like the party is elsewhere. Everyone getting ready for the weekend ahead. Still a bit of light, so who knows, maybe haven't decided to come out just yet. Let me just see. Now I also haven't been able to find a road going up, so I am pretty much stuck on this road until we find the next road ahead, and then we can start going into a different area. Now this is a general spot where we had shadow the other day, so who knows, maybe we'll get lucky with shadow in the night. That would be nice. And this is exactly right where we're going through. This is exactly where she crossed when she went back into Arethusa that day, with a lot of paparazzi waiting to photograph her and the little cub moving ahead. Alright, I need a different road. Here it is, the fire break. As good as any. Maybe we'll be able to spot a few more things from this road, spice our luck up, change things up. And funny enough, the only time that I have seen honey badgers here in Djuma was on the fire break. Still a bit far away from where we currently are, but who knows, maybe this will bring us the honey badger luck or the porcupine luck. Civet also, I also haven't seen a civet here. And I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's just we are a bit more skittish than in other areas, or if perhaps there's a less density or lower density of civets and honey badgers and things here. Karen, you say Tingana. That would be nice too. It is starting to come to that time of the day where Tingana likes to pop out, the last 10 minutes of drive or so. So yeah, why not Tingana? I actually don't know where he was seen. I know the last time he was spotted, it was somewhere on Chitwa, and then after that I haven't heard any news regarding where his whereabouts. No, I actually lie. Yesterday morning he was seen on Elephant Plains, I think. So, or this morning? Okay, no, I was completely lying. So Tingana, you're welcome to come back. Just forgot that I knew, or that I had that information in my head. Bush babies, not even. I think I'm not gonna drive this road again at night. Doesn't seem to be too useful. And also yesterday I decided that some of those roads, also the Janet Road was good, but I think I'm gonna stay clear from certain roads. Perhaps I'm gonna go on a night road mission and find out which are the best areas or which are the best roads to drive at night to see all these little ones. And I've started to pretty much put a big X on top of some, because there doesn't seem to be too many little creatures moving around here. There's a road going here. Let's go. Come, Wendy. Yes. Mike, you're wondering if hyenas and jackals are related. No, they're not related. Hyenas are actually not really related to anything but other species of hyena and a creature that looks quite funny that's called the aardwolf. And they are more genetically closely related to cats than to dogs. I just want to show you guys what we're looking at in the distance, that beautiful horizon, and just how quiet it is with all the cicadas around here. Very beautiful. It's almost like we've got a roof of clouds on top of us. And all the way down there in the mountains, that's the Drakensberg Mountains, the mountains of dragons that pretty much signal where our western area is. And that over there, all those little lights, that's where human settlements are. That's where we live, not too far. Well, at least if you look at it from here, about the furthest one ahead is maybe about an hour's drive if you were to drive directly from here all the way to there. You can hear all the insects as well. Wonderful. Alright, seems like that is it for the last bit of light. Let's carry on with our search for nocturnal creatures. Any chameleons up in the street? No? Perhaps some more. No, that is nothing really. Alright. Okay, Tingana, male lion, shadow, porcupine, pangolin, aardvark, hedgehog, honey badgers. This is your chance. Now that we have a long list of expectations or anything else. And an owl. An owl would also be nice. I think we need to add owl onto the list. And if I add more light, that might make it all easier. Maybe here, I just want to shine at the lower part. It's a bit thick, and the creatures that I might be interested in looking at might be down on the ground. Alright, nothing on top of this tree. I wonder what those lions are gonna do tomorrow. Wonder if perhaps the Talamatis will come in here, if perhaps the presence of new lions is gonna make our old lions come back home and just stick around here rather than going gallivanting into some other properties. Perhaps maybe even the fact that they are there, perhaps maybe the royal children will come back, the royal cubs. Just some impala around here. So we can't really shine the light at them because they are diurnal creatures and we don't want to damage their eyesight, but also we don't want to blind them, so that if Tingana is lurking around somewhere here, that he perhaps would have an edge of them because they wouldn't be able to see at all. Now, I wonder if perhaps that other leopard, or where they had them alarming very close to the drainage line where you had Mbula yesterday, I wonder if perhaps we're going to have another leopard around there, perhaps a leopard sawing. That would be quite interesting. I think winter always embraves some of the creatures, and they're more willing to, because well, out of necessity mostly, to go venture into other areas where they perhaps wouldn't normally do during the summertime when there's pretty much more of everything. So I think we might be starting to see some very interesting dynamics in the cat or predator world. Now, very happy that I finally got to see that little cub. I've only seen half of it face before, and that was, I think, well over 2 months ago. So it's wonderful to know where they are. Alright, seems like Taylor hasn't been able to find 20 chameleons yet, so let's go to her and wish her luck.
I don't believe you for a second, Ellie. You're telling fibs that she saw 18 off there. Was it a chameleon nest that you perhaps found? Then it'll be slightly more believable. Yes, I know we've only got a couple of minutes left and I haven't found a chameleon. I got distracted. I met some lambs, so I had a chat with them and they were very, very interested. There was some see what we do, so I was just organizing that they can pop in at some point. That was quite nice. They said they actually had a fairly quiet drive too, so wasn't just us out here today. And we've got hippos. Do we have 3? Was it? No, it was just 2. And hyenas, of course, with Ellie. We've had a great day. It hasn't been too bad.
Seems like there is a bush baby right there where the light is shining. I don't know if maybe I need to go back, although I think you'll be able to get it if it starts jumping around. Come on, little bush baby. Just for the last minute. You are the last minute bush baby. It is a title we don't take lightly. Okay, let me see if I go back, we'll be able to have a bit of a... Okay. Alright, Wendy. You need to cooperate. I can't see it anymore. I think it's been jumping around and flown away. Well, not flown away, but jumped away somewhere else. Sorry, guys, it was there. At least we know that there was one bush baby that heard our calls and came to say goodnight to all of us. Well, I think it's time for all of us here to say goodnight as well. We're heading back home. Hope you guys had a good time with us this afternoon, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning.